Hello, my name is Saman and today I'm going to be talking to B from Invictus Wellbeing about how you can make the big leap to doing things for yourself. Hi, thanks for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Why does leaving education feel like such a big shock for many young people?
Leaving education can feel like someone's removed the scaffolding from around you. At school and college, your day's really structured, and there's a timetable, teachers check in, and if you don't show up, someone notices. When that ends, the structure disappears almost overnight. There aren't automatic check-ins anymore. No one's chasing you around deadlines, and suddenly you're just expected to make big decisions about work and money and your future. That can feel less like freedom and more like pressure sometimes. So it's important to understand that this is a transition. It's a time in your life where things are really changing. It's not a failure. Feeling unsettled doesn't mean that you're not capable. It just means that you're getting used to it. What helps is creating your own structure, so a simple daily routine, setting 1 or 2 weekly goals, planning your week on a Sunday evening, maybe thinking about what you're going to wear, what you're going to take for lunch and that sort of thing. Reaching out for support early is really important as well. Don't wait until you're feeling completely overwhelmed. Transitions take time and they're meant to.
Yeah, I agree. What are the most common health barriers young people face during this transition?
I think the most common barriers are about anxiety, about job searching, low confidence, financial stress, not getting enough sleep, and a loss of identity, kind of like not knowing who you are. A lot of young people say, if I'm not a student anymore, who am I? Because being in education gives you a label and a clear role, you know what you're doing, but without that it can feel really confusing. Job searching can also trigger anxiety, interviews, rejection, uncertainty, meeting people in interviews, things like that. The stress can affect your sleep, appetite and your mood. But the key is to recognising symptoms early. If you're not sleeping, constantly worrying or avoiding applications out of fear, that's a sign to pause and get some support. Talk to your GP if needed, access to counselling or youth services, join peer groups where others are going through similar sort of stuff, and if money's a big stressor, you could get some budgeting advice and that can reduce a lot of background anxiety. These barriers are common and manageable with the right support.
Yeah, that's true. How does the loss of support systems impact mental health?
Teachers and tutors often play a bigger role than we realise because they provide encouragement, feedback and sometimes emotional support, don't they? Education also gives you a daily social interaction, having your mates around you, your classmates and that sort of group work type thing. And when that ends, isolation can creep in. You might spend more time alone, especially if you're job searching from home. Isolation can increase anxiety and low mood. Lack of people around you can make you feel really lonely. And sometimes young people don't know where to turn for help outside of education. What helps is being intentional about connection, staying in touch with friends, joining community groups, volunteer. If you start a job, build relationships up gradually. Also know your local youth services and online support platforms. Support doesn't disappear, it just shifts location.
Yep. What signs should young people look out for that show they might be struggling?
You need to be looking for changes. So changes in your sleep, either too much or too little, changes in your appetite, feeling constantly irritated or low, avoiding job applications because the fear feels overwhelming, and pulling away from your friends. Those are all signs that you might be struggling at that stage. Physical symptoms matter too, so getting things like headaches, feeling really tired, having issues with your stomach, that's a sign too. But they are signals that you need to do something, they're not signs of weakness. If you do notice them though, talk to someone early on, a parent, a youth worker, a GP, someone that you trust, and use simple self-check tools like rating your mood each day out of 10. Do you know what that means? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how do I feel? Ask yourself those questions. And when tasks feel overwhelming, break them down. Instead of get a job, make it update one section of my CV today. It's taking those small steps to reduce stress and build momentum.
Yeah. So why can responsibility feel overwhelming instead of empowering?
Well, that word responsibility sounds exciting in theory, doesn't it? But independence, earning money, making choices, if it all arrives suddenly without a gradual build-up, it can feel really scary. Perfectionism makes it worse, so feeling like you need to be perfect all the time. If you feel like you've got to get everything right immediately, responsibility feels really heavy. Social media adds pressure as well. It can look like everyone else has it all figured out. But the shift is to reframe mistakes as part of your learning. No one expects you to master adulthood in a year. Set realistic expectations, reduce comparison where you can. And mentorship is also really powerful. Having someone slightly ahead of you who says, "This is normal," can completely change how responsibility feels. No one expects you to master adulthood in a year, do they?
How does financial pressure affect physical and mental health?
Money stress can keep your body in alert mode. Stress hormones increase when there's uncertainty about income, and that can affect sleep, concentration and mood. Some young people skip meals to save money, and others take unsuitable jobs out of worrying about it. So some work multiple jobs and burn out really quickly. The solution starts with information. Access financial advice services, look into government schemes or local employment programs designed for young people. Learning basic budgeting builds confidence early. And if things feel urgent, ask about emergency support funds. Many communities have them. But financial stress is real, but support exists there.
That was a good answer. So what role does confidence play in transitioning from education to employment successfully?
Confidence affects everything that we do, doesn't it? How you speak in interviews, whether you network, whether you try again after rejection. Because rejection can hit hard at this age because your identity is still forming. And if you don't have much work experience, it's easy to doubt yourself. But confidence builds through practice. So having mock interviews help. Volunteering builds experience and internships create evidence. Celebrate your small wins though, sending the application, getting your feedback, improving your CV. It all builds that confidence that you might be lacking at the moment. Also, try and do a skills audit. Write everything down that you're good at. Teamwork, reliability, creativity, helping at home. You probably have more strengths than you realise.
Yep, that's true. How can young people build resilience during this phase?
Resilience isn't just about toughening up or pretending things don't hurt. It's about learning how to cope and who we can lean on. A growth mindset helps, seeing setbacks as part of development rather than proof that you're not good enough. Build problem-solving skills. When something goes wrong, ask yourself, what's one option that I haven't tried? You've also got to practice stress management, breathing techniques, movement, get journaling, and spending time outdoors. That all will really help. And reflect on past challenges that you've already overcome. You've handled difficult things before, and that's evidence that you can handle this phase too.
Yeah, that was very helpful. What can employers and communities do better to support young people?
Employers can make job descriptions clearer. They can provide constructive feedback after interviews. They can create entry-level roles that don't require years and years of experience for beginners. That'd be really helpful for young people. Mentorship schemes make a huge difference too, especially in the first years of employment. Communities can support paid internships, youth-friendly recruitment processes and transition programs that can bridge the gap between school and work. Young people don't need to be lowering their standards. They need clearer pathways and fairer access.
Yeah. And last question, if a young person feels completely unprepared for adulthood, where should they start?
Start small. Create a simple daily structure. Wake up time, one task, one positive action. Set one short-term goal, not fix my whole future. Just apply for one opportunity this week. All that sort of keeping it small will really help. Reach out for guidance as well. Career services, job centres, youth charities, they exist for this exact stage in your life. And avoid comparing timelines. There's no official deadline for having it together. The most important message is this: transition is a process, not a test. You don't pass or fail adulthood, you grow into it step by step, and that takes time.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for talking to us today, B. I'm sure our listeners will have found that really interesting.
Oh, thanks for inviting me. It's been great fun.
My pleasure.